This is a very important time in history as we now have one of the largest social media platforms in the world that is going to be drastically changed in terms of its trajectory. For a long time, we have seen social media as a place where you can't exactly be who you want to be. In many cases, people are prevented from saying what they want to say, and yes, it's true that we live in a world with very controversial opinions. Sometimes those opinions are very bad and they're wrong, but at the end of the day, I think it's better to live in a world where we can see what those opinions are and who those people are that have those opinions, because then we can make better judgments and we can assess things to determine exactly how not only our government should be run, but how our public discourse should be run and how we should be moving forward as citizens on this great earth of ours. But you can see right here, so Twitter right now, 53.70, that was the last price recorded on the stock market, as it is now officially a private company, which means if you're currently holding Twitter stock, you're going to get paid $54.20. Hilarious, by the way. We love the 54.20 number. Let that sink in. You can see there's now no longer a chart available. It's not very often that you see major companies that go from being public to going private. And Elon Musk also is potentially planning to take Twitter public again in about 5 years after he brings back and restores a lot of the image that people want to see. Now, for example, right now, Elon Musk, when it comes to his ownership of Tesla, he only owns a percentage of it. He does not own all of it. He owns approximately 23% of Tesla shares right now. And he did take a loan from those shares in order to be able to purchase Twitter. So Elon Musk is taking strides here. He is really leading a financial revolution. Is Twitter going to be a super profitable business for him? Well, that's not even the point. The point is he's trying to make the world a better place. And arguably by doing that, it then could lead to Twitter becoming profitable. But even if it's not, Elon Musk is not someone who cares so much about that. Elon Musk is someone who just simply wants to see things change, and he wants to see things doing better. Now, as you can see here, we also have some cool things happening with cryptocurrency. Take a look at this. Dogecoin is up 43.52% in the last week. Incredible stuff there. It actually has been fine for the number 9 spot with Solana going back and forth, but there's something very important to keep in mind here. Dogecoin passing Solana today was a very significant thing. Now it has fallen back as Solana saw a little bit of a surge over the last 24 hours. Even after Dogecoin saw its surge, the entire market is looking bullish, but take a look at exactly what's in front of Dogecoin. So Solana, Cardano are within a straw's reach of Dogecoin here. Dogecoin can easily pass both Solana and Cardano to become the 8th largest cryptocurrency in the world. But it gets more important than that, because take a look. Of those 7 ahead of it at that point, there's Binance USD and USD Coin, as well as Tether USDT. Those 3 coins are, of course, stable coins, not real cryptocurrencies. They're always going to be worth $1. And so as Dogecoin starts to be implemented more into Twitter, as we start to see Twitter tipping in Dogecoin and other things like that, it's going to lead to way more optimism and confidence in Dogecoin. It's going to showcase on the world scale exactly what Dogecoin is capable of. And then if we go ahead and remove Binance USD, USD Coin, and Tether, Dogecoin, after passing Cardano and Solana, will be a top 5 cryptocurrency. And the only cryptocurrencies ahead of it will be XRP, BNB, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum, we know how centralized it is because it was just able to switch over to a proof of stake system, which now allows for anyone with money to potentially be able to easily take over the entire Ethereum network and change its entire course, and also potentially control it, use censorship. So if Ethereum ever got too big, that would be a scary thing. Now, yes, it's a good thing that Ethereum is big. We like Ethereum. Ethereum has good use cases, but at the end of the day, Ethereum cannot be the cryptocurrency first. It is too centralized. Then we look at BNB. BNB, we just saw what happened with that. There was a hack with one of the bridges with BNB, and of course they were able to halt BNB. They were able to then actually take steps to ban people. When they have that kind of control and that ability to censor people from using their network, how can we rightfully say that BNB should be the cryptocurrency of Earth? Can we? Arguably not. XRP, with the lawsuits and the things that they have been accused of, we know that they have too much centralization. The people who control it have too much power to the point where they're now in legal trouble. Who can you sue? If Dogecoin's in trouble, who are you going to sue? Who's the leader of Dogecoin? There is no definitive leader of Dogecoin, especially not in any legal sense. So right there, we just excluded all 4 cryptocurrencies, or all 3. Bitcoin, I think, can be excluded because its transaction fees are too high, and also because of the nature of it. Now, yes, Bitcoin's a great store of value. We love Bitcoin. I'm going to continue to hold it. But can Bitcoin be the future currency of Earth? The answer is no. It likely can't be, at least not at a large enough scale to be having a huge percentage of the transactions on the planet. Dogecoin can do that, though. And so that's why it's so significant. Dogecoin, after passing and becoming the 5th largest crypto in the world, will only have 4 cryptos in front of it. And all 4 of them, you can easily make the case that they are not able to become the cryptocurrency of Earth. So tell me, with all of that said, why can't Dogecoin be the future currency of Earth? Give me 3 reasons why it can't. It's very hard to do that. Now, you can argue this, you can argue that, but at the end of the day, Dogecoin is being implemented in Twitter. Dogecoin is being implemented with large-scale efforts with Tesla and other companies. It is being showcased for what it can do. It's already up a lot in the last week, with a lot more potential to come, especially with the moon landing not far away. So we really have a chance to get extraordinarily, happily, and exuberantly on the train of Dogecoin before it absolutely goes crazy, which is what I want to see happen. And it really, truly, I think, will be good for the world to have a decentralized form of money that is not controlled by arguably anyone as the top currency that's used, something that's fun, relatable, memeable, hard to attack, hard to go out against. Because at the end of the day, if you're going out against Dogecoin and calling it names, you just look silly. What are you doing? You're attacking a dog currency? I mean, for goodness, give me a sake. I just made up a new term. For goodness, give me a sake. I don't know. It sounded right in my mind, so I just let it out my mouth hole. I mean, technically that's not even a real word or sentence, but I don't care. You know, we have fun here now. It's time to take fun back and bring fun up to another level. Now let's go and talk about some of the people who are arguably the least happy people on the planet. Not even just because of what just happened, but just in general. I mean, these people are very sad individuals, unfortunately for them. Welcome to hell, Elon, says Nilay Patel. Now, I can't make this stuff up. Just wait until you see what Nilay Patel's description is over here. So he's part of The Verge, which is a very big media outlet. You've probably heard of them before. Take a look at this. So he basically said, "You effed up real good, kiddo. Twitter is a disaster clown car company that is successful despite itself. And there's no possible way to grow users and revenue without making a series of enormous compromises that will ultimately destroy your reputation and possibly cause grievous damage to your other companies." Oh, is that so, buddy? Now let's go ahead and see what this guy's up to. So when Nilay Patel was 4 years old, this is the biggest, they put this first on his description. The most important thing about him, when he was 4 years old, he drove a Chrysler into a small pond. Oh, Nilay, you drove your car into a pond at 4 years old. Now you're driving your career into a pond with silly articles like this. The only difference is this time, your career, it's not going to be able to get out of the pond. You were able to get out of the pond, fortunately. Good for you, right? We don't want, I mean, as silly and ridiculous as Nilay is, we don't want him to be forever in a pond, right? We're glad he made it out safely. But at the same time, his career does deserve to be at the very bottom of that pond and to stay there for a long time. What a ridiculous article here. So not only has Elon Musk taken this with humility, he understands the challenge in place. He's not going to be able to please everyone, but he's not expecting to. He's taking steps, and the right ones, in fact, to make sure Twitter is a place that can not only grow, but it is favorable and admirable. And he's taking these really smart steps. You can see exactly what his plan is. He even said it publicly. We all know what his plan is. He said it. He's continuing to be nice and continuing to move forward with these things. So you can see Twitter will be forming a content moderation council that widely has diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. So Elon Musk is not saying he's going to give them full power, but what he is saying is that he's going to make sure to take some of that burden off of his shoulder. He's smart enough to realize if he's making all the decisions, then he has to take all the criticism for those decisions, and he doesn't want to do that. So this is a very smart move by Elon Musk. He's taking steps and taking strides here to really change things for Twitter. So why'd you restore already Kanye West's account? Says Republicans against Trumpism. Twitter should not be a platform to spew racism, anti-Semitism. Elon Musk then said Ye's account was restored by Twitter. Before the acquisition, they did not consult with or inform me. So he's already starting to kind of say, hey, look, I'm not going to be fully responsible for some of the things that happened with Twitter. I'm not going to be responsible for the things they did before I became CEO. Obviously, why would he be? But he's also leading the indication here that we can't fully say everything's Elon Musk's decision. So it's going to be of course, partly delegated to other people. We do know Elon Musk is firing a lot of individuals, and so he's going to reshape Twitter and make it better, but he's not going to be primarily and exclusively the one who makes all of the decisions. So I think that's an important distinction to keep in mind there when it comes to Twitter and Elon Musk. Also, when it comes to people like Kanye West, arguably you can say, okay, you can't say this, you can't say that, but arguably you can also say, if we can see what people think, then we can decide whether or not we think they're good people or not in some cases. Maybe you think Kanye West is a good person. Maybe you think he's not a good person. But wouldn't it make more sense if people are allowed to say what they want and then we can know exactly what that person thinks? Otherwise, we're going to be in a position where there's people who we may actually want to not like, but we would never know we would not like them because they don't say what they think. So it's just kind of ridiculous, right? Free speech, I don't think it actually truly hurts anyone. Kanye West, he has enough of a platform to get publicity. He's going to say the things he wants to say. And so you can decide, do you think that's right? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's unfair? He is not going to be taken off of the platform, I think, in a world that makes the most sense. He's just simply going to be scrutinized for the bad things he says. And then if he does do positive things, he'll be praised for that. And of course, it could go directly down opinion lines. Some people think it's a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing. It just depends on where you stand. But at the end of the day, that open dialogue and open discourse, with some moderation, of course, is going to, I think, lead to a better country. It's going to lead to a better environment overall. And Twitter, Elon Musk, he's playing his cards right here. He's making some very smart moves. Comedy is now legal on Twitter. So also, I think that's important to keep in mind. So you can now make offensive jokes. For a long time, if you made offensive jokes, you would get banned. A joke is a joke. Now, if someone says something legitimately offensive and bad, there's going to be still moderation in place. That person could have that tweet removed. That person still could get suspended or potentially removed from Twitter. Now, in most cases, it seems like that's not going to happen. We're going to see temporary suspensions for people who do violate the terms and policies, but it's definitely going to be more evenly treated and more fair here. It's not going to be based on if the people who run Twitter disagree with you, then no matter what you say, you're way more likely to get banned. If they don't, then you're okay. It's not going to be along those lines anymore. And it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you are on, according to the current political discourse, that will make Twitter better. It will make social media better. And it will lead not only to Republicans being held more accountable, who are in positions of power, but also Democrats being held more accountable. That's what we want to see. If there's not freedom, let's say, for example, a lot of Republicans are turned away from Twitter. They don't want to be on it. Then they're likely not going to hold their own politicians accountable, because where are those politicians going to see that stuff? If they can't be on social media platforms, if they're kicked off, if they can't say what they want to say, then it's going to be hard for them to criticize themselves. Likewise, it's going to be hard for Democrats and for Republicans to criticize Democrats and all of that type of thing. I mean, there's a lot of criticism that the government deserves regardless of party. Republicans and Democrats both deserve that criticism. One thing that we can point out very clearly is spending way too much money that we don't have. That should be criticized. And in a free speech world, a lot more of that will be criticized. And so that's what we want to see. And then, of course, those politicians may decide, okay, well, I need to get better. Look at all these people criticizing me. It's time to improve what I'm doing. Democrats could say, okay, I'm going to improve these things. Republicans could say, I'm going to improve these things. And then boom, now we automatically have a better political world. And all it took was Elon Musk buying Twitter. It's amazing how this domino effect could really go into play soon. Ligma Johnson had it coming. Elon Musk allegedly fired an entire team of Twitter data engineers. Employees Raul Ligma left and Daniel Johnson right are pictured walking out of the San Francisco police office or the San Francisco Twitter office on Friday afternoon. Pretty hilarious. So Raul Ligma, I mean, my goodness, Elon Musk just absolutely slamming them for this. They had it coming. That's what do you expect? Ligma Johnson. My goodness, pretty dang funny. You know what I'll say? There we go. Look at that. So we actually had a tweet get 60,000 likes in the last 24 hours. It's still continuing to get likes. So you know what? We'll go ahead and give our support here. Of course, Elon Musk deserves support. Ligma Johnson should have never. Neither of them should be allowed to be part of Twitter. And of course, they deserve to get fired. I mean, I fully approve this. There we go. There we go. Look at that. We'll have to say we approve this. Good job firing them. Look how sad they look. And all the cameras there, it's pretty dang funny. I mean, my goodness, good job there. We want to see Twitter employees, of course. Do you want to see Twitter employees who are not doing a good job? Do you want to see them hitting the road? Of course we do. I mean, at the end of the day, there are some Twitter employees who are doing a great job, who are continuing to live up to the standard of why they were hired in the first place. But not every Twitter employee is necessary for the company to operate. Some of them need to be replaced in favor of employees who almost certainly work harder, right? That's the most important thing. And then also, hopefully have ideas and ideologies that favor more towards people being able to say what they want. And that is, I think, kind of the bigger picture here. We want to see that. If you want to press like, you're certainly welcome to do that. To the effing moon, says Tommy Boy. I like the sound of that here. We want to have high energy. We want to have fun. But you know what? There's a lot. There's a lot that's going on with Twitter right now, and a lot that we want to talk about. Elon Musk's fortune will ultimately enable his takeover of Twitter has been padded by billions in subsidies, according to Robert, and contracts paid for by the American taxpayers, just in case anyone needed that reminder. This is going to be one of the biggest attacks they do against Elon Musk. Oh, well, the government funds him. No, only a tiny percentage of any funding that has gone to his companies has come from the government, and it's a little ridiculous. I mean, Elon Musk has paid far more in taxes. Individually, that's what's so crazy here. Forget about how much in taxes Tesla is paying. Elon Musk individually has paid more in taxes to the federal government than he has received subsidies for his companies, not just for himself personally. So this is probably one of the most ridiculous arguments you can possibly make. Not only that, but he is giving free service to Ukraine right now in the form of Starlink, not paid for by taxpayers, paid for directly by him, despite the fact that it is a setback for his company, and despite the fact that he just spent $40 billion on Twitter, right? Not only through the form of him actually borrowing money to do that, but also he did actually put some of his capital up. So there's a lot that's going on here when it comes to Elon Musk and what he's doing right now with Twitter. And so whenever you see arguments like this, of course we can just laugh them off. I mean, probably some of the dumbest arguments on the planet are on Twitter right now. But for the most part, people seem to be very enthusiastic about Twitter and Elon Musk. He has one of the most liked tweets in Twitter history. Of course, he owns it now. It makes sense, right? 2 million likes. The bird is freed. You gotta love it. We also have now Elon Musk just fired Via Gade, who is the woman who made the call to suspend Donald Trump permanently. That was one of the most liked tweets on all of Twitter in the last week or so, in the last 24 hours. Breaking, Elon Musk has fired 2 tweets like that. Via Gade, head of legal policy, trust and safety, who made the decision to permanently suspend Donald Trump. So this is where a lot of angles are coming at. Will Donald Trump be back on Twitter? And I think a lot of people would assume I'm just going to say, of course, Donald Trump should be back on Twitter, but I think there's more nuance to the situation. So Donald Trump right now is saying he doesn't want to be on Twitter, and Elon Musk is facing some pressure from advertisers about letting Donald Trump back on Twitter. So I could see a scenario where Donald Trump is not back on Twitter, but I do think if Donald Trump requests to be back on Twitter, he is going to be allowed back on. So I think that's kind of the status here. I don't think Elon Musk is going to be reaching out to Donald Trump and saying, hey, come back on Twitter. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a push for it. I think it will just simply be if Donald Trump decides he really wants to come back on Twitter, which right now he's not pushing for, then at that point he will be allowed to do so. And of course, the council is going to have to convene first. So there's a lot of different things at play here. But if there are advertisers who want to leave as a result of someone being on Twitter, I think that's a little bit silly. The advertisers are coming to Twitter because they want their products put in front of people. They're paying for that to happen. If people are buying the products, if it's profitable, then advertisers are going to come. I don't think advertisers necessarily care who is on Twitter or not at the end of the day. Only some do. They're trying to protest about it. But I don't think Elon Musk, he's not going to cow down. We're not going to cow down to people that do that. And so, yes, Donald Trump's a controversial figure. Not everyone supports him. But should he be allowed to say what he wants to say? Yes, everyone should. And arguably, if you are a Democrat, you should want Donald Trump on Twitter. Because then Democrats actually are energized more, I think, by Donald Trump being on Twitter. So if you're a Republican, you may want Donald Trump on Twitter because you want to hear what he has to say. If you're a Democrat, you may want Donald Trump on Twitter because you think it'll be good for your party. It'll energize your people more. So there's lots of different ways to look at this. I'm going to try to be unbiased as much as I possibly can and look at all the different angles here because I don't think at the end of the day, any politician should have too much loyalty from any of us. If they do a good job on the economy, that's the number one most important thing. All the rest of the stuff is important too, but significantly less so because how many hours you have to work in order to get what you want is the most important thing that the federal government has power over. And what I mean by that, so on average in the United States, how many hours of work does it take to get the things that you want with purchasing power? So if you're making $15 an hour, do you have to work 10 hours in order to be able to buy, say, for example, like what would we say? Like, I mean, what's something along those lines? Do you have to work for like 100 hours to be able to buy an iPhone? Do you have to work this many hours? How many hours do you have to work to get a gallon of gas? All of those things are very important. And we've seen the prices of things going up way faster than we have seen, especially lately, than we have seen wages going up. So the amount of time you have to spend at the office has gone up massively just to get the same things that you could before. If that's what's happening, then that should be the single most important thing the government is being judged on, and arguably no president in decades has really taken huge efforts to stop inflation and to allow for that amount of work to get you more stuff in return compared to less stuff. By spending all the money we have, they are putting us in a very bad position, and they are making each president after them in a much harder position as well. So that's really the biggest downside here. Now, which president is going to come in and take that unpopularity hit in order to actually help to get things on board? That's what we need. And I don't think it matters if they have an R next to their name or a D next to their name, as long as they're simply making real steps to bring business innovation back to the United States and to stop inflation from being such a big problem, then they are going to do the most important thing the federal government can do in bringing an increased amount of goods and services you can purchase for the same amount of work. That's the only currency that matters. Money itself is valueless. Paper itself is valueless. That's the only thing that I think we should be focusing on. And look at that. We have a lot more stuff here. Dear Twitter advertisers, so you've probably already seen this. I wanted to reach out to personally share my motivation in acquiring Twitter. There has been much speculation about why I bought Twitter and what I think about advertising. Most of it has been wrong. The reason I acquired Twitter is because it's important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner. Without restoring to violence, of course. We don't want that. Resorting, rather. There is currently a great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society. That's very much true. In the relentless pursuit of clicks, much of traditional media has fueled and catered to those polarized extremes as they believe that is what brings the money in. But in doing so, the opportunity for dialogue is lost. That is why I bought Twitter. I didn't do it because it would be easy. I didn't do it to make more money. I did it to try to help humanity, whom I love, confirmed. And I do so with humility, recognizing that failure in pursuing this goal, despite our best efforts, is a very real possibility. Of course, he needs to make sure to understand a lot of people are going to hate him for this. A lot of people are going to criticize him for this. But he's already been in that position, though. He's already been getting criticism. At the end of the day, all this can do is make things better. That said, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. In addition to adhering to the laws of the land, our platform must be warm and welcoming to all, where you can choose your desired experience according to your preferences, just as you can choose, for example, to see movies or to play video games, ranging from all ages to mature. I also very much believe that advertising, when done right, can delight, entertain, and inform you. It can show you a service or product or medical treatment that you never knew existed. But is it right for you? For this to be true, it is essential to show Twitter users advertising that is as relevant as possible to their needs. Low relevancy ads are spam, but highly relevant ads are actually content. Fundamentally, Twitter aspires to be the most respected advertising platform in the world that strengthens your brand and grows your enterprise. To everyone who has partnered with us, I thank you. Let us build something extraordinary together. So very, very, very wise words coming in there. He understands business. Of course, obviously, he's the richest man in the world. Of course he does. We already knew that. But he's also taking steps, very much so, to make sure the advertisers understand his angle here. He's not just going to be doing a free-for-all. He's not just going to be saying everyone can say whatever they want. It's going to be moderated but fairly. And that's all that I think people have really been asking for Twitter. That's all people really wanted. Elon Musk, when 6 billion can diminish world hunger for the foreseeable future. Here's another criticism of him. Elon Musk, when 44 billion lets him unban, unban bad people, basically is what they're suggesting. So this is probably one of the least true things you can ever imagine. So Elon Musk basically said, if there is a way to cure world hunger with 6 billion, show me it and I'll put up the money. No one was able to show him that because it's not possible. Unfortunately, that'll be nice. Even though he is making massive efforts to bring modernization and to end poverty, especially through Starlink, he is helping the world. He is doing those things. That's exactly what's happening. Just giving people cash, it wouldn't actually fix the problem. It would just simply temporarily give people a boost, when in reality, it could actually even set them back further, because then they would potentially feel like they wouldn't need to take those same strides that could lead to real long-term success and real long-term comfortable lifestyle, or however you want to register it. But Elon Musk, also, they're saying he's going to let on bad people. Elon Musk is continuing to let people know that's not the case. He's not just going to let on random people who will say stuff that people disagree with. at the end of the day, Elon Musk is only simply going to allow free speech to continue at a higher level with more fairness. There will be some people that will remain banned. There will be some people that will get banned. That's just going to be part of the thing. You cannot have a perfect Twitter where everyone's happy all the time, but you also have to have some level of really truly making sure people feel comfortable to say their opinions. So there's a balance that has to be made there, but the idea that Elon Musk is just going to make it that basically they're saying, oh, he's going to make it a crazy hellscape. Elon Musk said himself, he's not going to do that. We're making sure that's not going to happen, right? But here are some people who may potentially be brought back to Twitter. Now, some of them are extremely controversial. Some of them are only slightly controversial. And at the end of the day, all of them do tend to be leaning toward the right, which I think is probably one of the reasons why we have had so much outrage about this, because people on the right are upset about it. But it's not only people on the right. There are some people on the left who've been banned as well. And in fairness, everyone should be able to have an opportunity to come back on Twitter as long as they have not done some extraordinarily bad things. So we'll start with the first one here. They said Donald Trump. Then we'll start with the second one, Roger Stone. So here are some of the people: Kanye West, potentially Alex Jones. I know a lot of people are going to be interested to see what he has to say, especially after that massive lawsuit that was just put against him. Milo Yiannopoulos, I think that's how you pronounce it. Vladimir Putin could potentially come back. So Vladimir Putin, this is one of the most interesting ones, because he's someone right now who's doing very bad stuff on the world scale. I don't think anyone will deny that. But at the same time, potentially he could be persuaded, if he was more actively engaged with the rest of the world, to do less bad stuff. Now, that could be a moonshot, right? Some people would argue, Matt, if you just try to cater to him at all he's going to do is take that and run with it and even take more from you and see you as weak. So yes, that's possible. So maybe here's one of the ones where arguably he should not be allowed back on Twitter, and that is Vladimir Putin. I could see a case being made for he should not ever be allowed back on Twitter again, but there's very few people that I could really see that case being made for. So we'll see. And even still, I don't think it's 100%. There are some cases that could be made the opposite way, that he should be still allowed to be part of public discourse, and potentially it could have a more positive outcome, even if hoping for that would give him the type of credit that he really doesn't deserve. Now, there's so much nuance to that situation. There's also the fact that we have Ukraine, who is not exactly the most responsible nation in the world either. And so they're definitely not someone who I think should be propped up on some golden pedestal. At the end of the day, what's happening to Ukraine is wrong. It shouldn't be happening. But we also have to consider the fact that Vladimir Putin is being massively sanctioned. He's having lots of negative things happen to him, and a lot of those are absolutely deserved. And so hopefully the world will be able to come together and stop us from having an all-out conflict on the global scale that could potentially take out millions of people or all of us. That's what we want to avoid. That's the most important thing. So as important as it is for each individual person involved in Ukraine and each individual person involved in Russia, it's important for all of them for different reasons. But it's way more important for all of us on the globe that we do not have an all-out conflict break out. So if Putin coming back to Twitter could help to prevent that, perhaps it would be advantageous. If Putin coming back to Twitter would simply result in him using that and running with it and putting out misinformation and things like that, then you can make the argument he should not be back allowed on Twitter. So I don't even know what my opinion is on this, because I hate to be even in a position where I have to give an opinion on it. I mean, I just, obviously this guy's a terrible dude, right? But should every terrible person be allowed on Twitter? I mean, there's other examples, right? Like, should people who are in prison for doing really terrible things and yet they come out, should they be allowed on Twitter? I mean, where does the line get drawn? And arguably, yes, if you are committing undeniably evil acts on the world scale or even on a community scale, that should be what bans you from Twitter. If you're breaking the law, committing undeniably evil acts, that should be the type of people, and Putin obviously in that position, who are not allowed. But then there's also the aspect of, okay, well, if you're doing bad stuff, but you have a lot of power, then perhaps you need to be allowed on regardless of those rules. So there's so many weird ways to look at this. Katie Hopkins here, right-wing commentator, Katie Hopkins, Steve Bannon, also right-wing, David Duke. So here's one that obviously everyone's going to, for the most part, agree should not be allowed back on Twitter. Ollie, this guy, he has done some very, very, very arguably evil stuff on the world scale, in charge of a regime that's definitely, undeniably doing bad things to its citizens and to people in other countries as well. Kim Jong-un, I don't even know if is Kim Jong-un on Twitter? He definitely should not be allowed. So there are some people I think we can all agree should not be allowed on Twitter. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she could come back on Twitter. Azalea Banks, she could come back on Twitter. This one I think is definitely going to happen. Singer Azalea Banks, who had her account suspended, including in 2016, when she made racist comments about singer from former One Direction member Zayn Malik. Well, I didn't even know why she got banned. But at the end of the day, making a comment that is bad years ago does not mean you should be forever banned from a social media platform. Even if we all agree that comment was bad, we should also all agree, okay, but that doesn't mean you can never be allowed to be part of the public conversation again. People change, first of all. Second of all, even if people don't change, we would rather see their opinions, if they're bad, than be in a position where we don't know what their opinions are, I think. I think a lot of people agree with me on that. So here's another one that arguably should not be allowed on because he did do some very evil stuff. Former pharmaceutical boss Martin Shkreli, he was banned from Twitter in 2017 after being accused of targeted harassment. And he also has of course been part of multiple major scandals, doing bad stuff on the world scale. So he's arguably another person who should not be back allowed on Twitter. So there's kind of the gist of it. A lot of people who've been banned for various different reasons. Some of them definitely should have an opportunity to come back. Some of them arguably should never have an opportunity to come back. I would love to hear your opinion. What do you think about that? Which of those people should not be allowed back on Twitter? Which of those people should be allowed back on Twitter? And hopefully, I mean, I'll be honest, that was a very hard segment. It was hard to walk the tightrope on that. I don't want to say anything that'll make people upset, but at the same time, I really don't think my opinions are upsetting. I think I'm pretty fair, I'm pretty just about it, and most of my opinions are relatively agreeable, and even if you disagree with them a little bit, overall, I think we can say, okay, well, mostly that makes sense, right? That's what I generally try to think about, because I do factor everything in. I'm not biased in emotional standard. I don't have some reason why I'm automatically going to hate someone or want them to be banned just because of something they believe. I'm going to be fair about it. If they deserve it, they deserve it. If not, then not. It's really that simple. To the moon, it says Nikita. I happen to like you saying that there. Chris says, bring back Trump 2024. Let him all back on. It's party time, says DL. So there we go. So some people saying let him all back on. Some people saying they don't care. We just want everyone to have a chance again. But there is still some lines that have to be drawn, I think. So I disagree with you a little bit there. I don't think everyone should be allowed back on. I just think that the people who have either had enough time after their suspension, obviously should be allowed back on. The people who probably should have never been banned in the first place should definitely be allowed back on. The people who got banned for an arguably legitimate reason, those are going to be people who the council has to look at. And I imagine the council will most likely say no in many of those cases. And if those individuals want to make the case for why I should come back on Twitter, I think there should be an appeal process. So if you are decided you're not allowed back on Twitter, you should be able to go on the public stage. You should be able to go and appeal publicly, make your case, and then if you make a good enough and compelling case, which is going to be hard to do, right, then you can be allowed back on. So I think that could be another angle where we can kind of walk the line of these people are bad, don't allow them, but maybe they have a chance if they can make a good enough case to the public. Give people a chance. I think that's important. I think no one should be completely and totally wiped off the face of social media and not given a chance ever again. But yeah, so there we go. I mean, that's for the most part what's been happening. I've also had a lot of tweets going viral lately. Elon Musk is going to turn Twitter into the #1 social media platform, getting a lot of likes very fast. Elon Musk is one of the most important figures in history. Dogecoin just passed Solana. I tweeted that out when it happened, getting a lot of likes. So we're getting a ton of engagement on Twitter right now. Elon Musk just changed everything. And you can see Dogecoin turn on the rocket boosters. Been having fun with a Dogecoin lately. Even said, let that Dogecoin in. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter account is MattWallace888. We'll have fun with it. We'll see Dogecoin spiking. We'll see interesting things happening. And of course, when Dogecoin does become the currency of Earth, all the people who doubted it will say, man, I was wrong. I wish I had bought some Dogecoin. And they may cry. We don't know. They a couple tears maybe shed. It's possible. We'll have to see. We also had another article. I'll mention this one real quick. By buying Twitter, Elon Musk has created his own hilarious nightmare. I wonder who wrote this. Oh, The Intercept. Let's see who this guy is. John Schwartz. Before joining First Look Media, John Schwartz worked for Michael Moore's Dog Eat Dog Films and was a research producer for Moore's Capitalism, a Love Story. So a guy who doesn't necessarily like capitalism. He's contributed to many publications, including The New Yorker, The New York Times, all these prestigious, oh, we're better than you. Oh, I'm so much better than you. I worked for The New York Times. I worked for The New Yorker, The Wall Street Journal. All these ridiculous anti-Elon Musk places that I don't think anyone truly trusts. Some people go there for entertainment. No one trusts these people because they are paid to make people feel good. They're not paid to give you information. And so I think that's an important distinction. He also was for NPR, one of the most boring places on the planet, Saturday Night Live, which used to be way more funny, much less funny now. There are some segments though I like, some pretty funny segments. When Elon Musk was on, that was a lot of fun, right? In 2003, he collected on $1,000 bet that Iraq would have no weapons of MD. And so I think that right there, certainly a redeeming thing that a lot of people would agree on. A lot of people did not take that position. So I think the fact that he did, that's one thing that's more redeeming. But at the end of the day, that was 2003. He's clearly gotten a lot worse since 2003. This guy has turned from someone who arguably was cool into someone who simply just totes whatever line he's supposed to tote. And his article had absolutely no legitimate cases in it whatsoever. He tried to just say it's hilarious, Elon Musk is going to ruin everything now. Of course they're going to say this. They're upset. They want to continue to have their media monopoly on Twitter, and Twitter was allowing them to have that. Now, voices of individuals who are not part of this media monopoly will have a chance to speak. Voices who would have otherwise never gotten a chance to speak will be able to now, and that's, of course, going to make a lot of these mainstream media people mad because they're going to make less money. Citizen journalism will be a much bigger thing on Elon Musk's Twitter than it was before. These media outlets who were unfair and treated people badly and roasted unfairly using lies individuals in the public sphere, those people will, of course, be criticized widely. And so overall, we're going to see a lot of positive things as a result of what Elon Musk did, and it's going to lead, of course, it's going to lead to a better world. There's no doubt about it. That's why I've been tweeting about it. That's why people are so excited about it. We need, undeniably right now, to see Elon Musk not only firing all the people at Twitter, we need to fire everyone who did a bad job, but hiring people who are going to do a good job, making sure the council is truly balanced and set up to last for the long term. That's going to be what has the biggest impact on the future of discourse. That's going to be what has the biggest impact on making the country better, on making the world better, and it could potentially change everything. If it does, then boom, that's a big win right there for humanity. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. Doge to the moon and beyond, says AF Tech 72. I happen to agree with you there. I'm excited to see what Elon brings to the table now. Very, very, very exciting indeed. Someone said Bush lied. Which Bush and about what? Shiba climbing, says AF Tech 72. Oh yeah, we haven't checked on Shiba Inu in a bit. We'll go ahead and give it a look-see. Dogecoin obviously doing very well right now. We'll see if SHIB is having some of the same energy. Oftentimes when Shiba goes up, Dogecoin will go up. When Dogecoin goes up, Shiba will go up. So we'll see if that's happening right now. Okay, not bad. Up 9%. We'll see on the week. What has it done? On the week, Shiba Inu coin has gone up from... It's gone up around 20%, so not too shabby. Of course, Dogecoin far outperforming it, far outpacing it. Shiba Inu has a market cap of 7 billion. Dogecoin is nearing a market cap that would be at double what Shiba Inu is at. 6 billion there, Dogecoin at around 12 billion approximately right now. So Dogecoin almost doubled now Shiba, which is crazy because there was a time when Shiba, it passed ahead of Dogecoin for a brief amount of time, which was a pretty wild experience to watch that happen. Now though, we're starting to see Shiba Inu calm down a bit as Dogecoin just takes off with exuberance indeed. Also, I thought this was pretty funny. So there's some celebrities who are saying they're going to quit Twitter. Now, there's also celebrities who are saying we're going to stay on Twitter no matter what. Even if they don't like Elon Musk, some of them are pushing for that. So there's both sides of the aisle here. But at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of these people are going to leave. Celebrities are beginning to quit Twitter. Here it says on The Hollywood Reporter, or at least claim they are. That was very eloquently said. That's right. A lot of them are just claiming it. They're not actually going to leave. I'm out of here, declared This Is Us executive producer Ken Olin to his 300,000 followers. So Elon Musk's just simply saying he's going to prevent the U.S. from becoming more divisive. He's going to encourage a better Twitter, and he's going to also help Twitter to grow. What part of that is bad? Show me exactly what Elon Musk said that you disagree with so much. Oh, that's right. You just wanted to simply have your little monopoly of media still in place so you can make more money. We get it. Bill and Ted star Alex Winter quit the platform apparently. He said he scrubbed his tweet history and left behind a Linktree address and posted a meme about Musk taking over the platform that portrayed Twitter's new chief as the Three Musketeer along with Donald Trump and Kanye West. Donald Trump may not even come back on Twitter. Kanye West, Elon Musk reaches out to him when Kanye West says things that Elon Musk thinks is bad. Elon Musk reaches out to Kanye West and says, hey man, you got to be careful what you're saying here. You shouldn't say that. And so far, Kanye West has been taking it to heart, as Elon Musk said so himself. So still though, where exactly is this negativity here? There's no reason to think that's a bad thing that Elon Musk is promoting free speech. He's not going to let the worst of the worst back on Twitter. It's simply not going to happen. But should every person who's in a significant role of power have the ability to explain their thoughts? Of course, because otherwise we're going to have powerful people who we don't even know what they're thinking or what their plan is. And so there's so many different angles to come at this from. But the angle of I'm just leaving Twitter is probably the silliest and most laughably dumb argument you can possibly have, the most dumb angle. I mean, good. If people are this silly and dumb, arguably Twitter doesn't need them. We don't want them on Twitter. Y'all's for real. Come find me on Instagram or on the talk. Gonna really try to take a breather for a minute. A month or so. Come deal close time. Says Billion showrunner Brian Koppelman. So of course he'll be back. A lot of these people will be back. Yeah, others are encouraging people. And so this is coming to the perspective of people on the left wing are leaving. And it does seem a little silly to me. I really, truly believe if you are on the left wing, you should want Elon Musk to own Twitter. It will make your party better. If you're on the right wing, it will make your party better too. This is just going to simply mean politicians on both sides get better. That will be the net outcome of this. So if you are on the left and you are against this, you are going against your own party becoming better. And becoming better doesn't necessarily mean winning. It just simply means even if you lose, you lost with a candidate that would have done a better job. If you win with a candidate that is going to do a better job. Same on the other side. If you lose with a candidate that will be better. I think this really can shape things significantly and could lead to better candidates being elected who are not just simply emotionally manipulating people into voting for them based on reasons that arguably are not even that important to the federal government. Federal government needs to be working on the economy and foreign policy, with the economy being the primary objective because that radiates toward everything else. All the other social issues. If the economy is stronger, those social issues will be significantly better off. And so there's so many different reasons why we need to have the economy first, and yet Twitter, as it has been, has led to this illusion that the economy doesn't need to be first and that these social issues are more important. When in reality, even though some of them are important, they all will definitely strive off of the economy doing well. So people have been misled into voting for the wrong reasons, I think. And so I think really, truly, this could change the entire game and make things better. Others on the platform suggest they're staying for now, but will definitely quit the moment Trump's Twitter account is restored, something that Musk has indicated he'll likely do. So Donald Trump, apparently, according to Elon Musk, will be allowed back on Twitter. And I think the people who leave as a result of that are massively missing the point here. If you don't like that Trump is on Twitter, then go to Trump's Twitter account and tell him why you don't like him. Explain to him why he needs to be better. If Trump has a position of power, he does. If he has influence, he does. Then explain to him what you think he should use his influence for. Likewise, if you don't like Joe Biden, you need to go to his Twitter account and explain to him what you think he's doing wrong and how he should improve. Now, do Elon Musk or do Donald Trump and Joe Biden read their Twitters? I don't know, but they should, because then perhaps they could see what they need to improve on in a fair world. But in a world where Twitter is despised by a lot of people and where they're not really saying their true opinions, then it's going to lead politicians to believe the exact wrong stuff. So that's why Elon Musk making it a free speech area could lead to politicians actually seeing what people think about them and then having to improve based on that. On Thursday night, Musk closed his deal to take command of the social media platform and call himself the Chief Twit, which is pretty dang funny. The Chief Twit. Good job, Chief Twit. I mean, Elon Musk having a sense of humor is probably the best thing about this. Him just having fun with it. Him taking things to the next level. I think it is the best thing you can possibly have when it comes to a CEO of anything, especially a social media platform. The fact that we didn't have that before just arguably shows us why it's so important that we do have it now. If some celebrities quit Twitter, they will be part of the larger trend that preceded Musk's takeover. According to the Reuters report, the platform has been quietly sending its most active users, the 10% of the heavy tweet subscribers, who account for 90% of the tweets. So some of them have left, most of them have not. That is a misleading thing to say. But still, though, I think it'll be fun and exciting no matter what to just watch how this unfolds. I've been spending a lot more time on Twitter lately, having fun reading tweets, seeing people freak out, seeing people happy, all sorts of different opinions out there. That's the way Twitter should be, and hopefully it stays that way in the future. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace, this is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.